Have you ever stared at the ceiling and felt the weight of a life unlived pressing down on your chest? Not because you lacked dreams, but because you kept telling yourself, tomorrow, tomorrow, you'll be better. Tomorrow, you'll start. Yet tomorrow never arrives. It's a ghost you keep chasing, a lie that lulls you back into comfort while your potential slips quietly away. The Stoics knew this trap well. They didn't speak of chasing illusions. They spoke of facing the brutal now. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." There's no time to wait, no space left for hesitation. If you seek to become unshakable, you must first confront the war raging inside your own mind. The doubt, the distraction, the endless excuses. Today is not about easy inspiration. It's about discipline raw, demanding, and transformative. A discipline that doesn't soothe you, but rebuilds you. A discipline that burns away the falsehoods you've been living under. Stay with me. We're about to walk through 8 brutal Stoic laws that will tear down everything weak within you and build something unstoppable in its place. If you're ready to rise, stay present. The journey begins now. Principle number 1. Control your first hour. Let's talk about the first hour of your day, not as a casual routine, but as a battleground where your destiny is shaped. The moment you open your eyes, the world is already reaching for you through screens, demands, distractions. But if you surrender to it, if you scroll through your phone before you've even met yourself, you're not just checking messages, you're handing over your mind, your will, your spirit. And when you hit the snooze button, you're not buying rest, you're buying defeat. Every second you waste in hesitation, you lose ground to weakness. The Stoics understood this intimately. Marcus Aurelius didn't wait for the world to be gentle. He rose every day expecting trials, betrayal, selfishness, injustice. Yet he met them with an iron spirit because he had already conquered the most important enemy himself. That inner war begins the moment you wake, not against the noise of the world, but against the softer voice within, the one that pleads for comfort, the one that begs you to postpone greatness for another hour, another day. Your first hour isn't a luxury, it's sacred, it's a proving ground. It's where you set the terms for the rest of your day, and by extension, your life. When you wake up and reach for silence instead of stimulation, breath instead of noise, stillness instead of panic, you're choosing mastery. Mastery over your instincts, mastery over your cravings, mastery over the chaos that will inevitably come. This isn't about forcing a perfect morning. It's about declaring who you are before the world tries to tell you. It's about owning the only space in the day that belongs purely to you. Light a candle instead of a screen. Stretch your body into wakefulness instead of numbing it. Feed your mind something noble before the world floods it with triviality. Read a sentence that stirs your soul. Reflect on a truth that sharpens your edge. Because if you win that first hour, the day can try whatever it wants, and it will not defeat you. The battle has already been decided. Your phone, your boss, the noise, the setbacks, they will try to reach you, but they will find a fortress, not a servant. So choose your side. Choose the hard beginning that makes everything easier later. Choose discipline over distraction, strength over softness, purpose over passive existence. Drop a comment below. I command the first hour of my life, not for me, for yourself, as a silent vow that today you step onto the battlefield already victorious. At the end of the day, it's simple. If you command your morning, you command your mind, and if you command your mind, you command your life. Principle number 2. Kill the voice that wants comfort. Let's talk about the enemy that lives inside you, not some external force, but the whisper that speaks when no one else is around. It sounds harmless, even caring. It tells you, sleep a little longer, skip the workout just for today. You've earned the right to slow down. But understand this, that voice is not your friend. It is a saboteur, a parasite feeding on your moments of weakness, wrapping its hands around your potential and dragging you into mediocrity. Seneca once warned, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." And that quiet voice is the greatest thief of all. It convinces you to retreat when you should advance. It soothes you with lies, whispering that comfort is a reward, when in truth, it is the cage. Every time you listen, you are not giving yourself grace. You are handing over your freedom. You are locking yourself inside a life smaller than the one you were meant to live. That voice fears your strength. It trembles at your potential, because every time you choose discipline over indulgence, every time you embrace discomfort instead of fleeing from it, you become someone it can no longer control. It loses ground. It dies a little more. Picture that voice not as your own thoughts, but as a shadow creeping through the corridors of your mind. Its only purpose is to keep you weak, to keep you doubting, to keep you still. But you are not here to be ruled by shadows. You are here to command yourself, to master the instincts that would otherwise master you. When that voice tells you to rest, rise instead. When it tells you tomorrow, act today. When it urges you to pull back, push forward with twice the force. Each time you do, you reclaim an inch of your soul. Each time you resist, you strengthen the invisible muscles of your will. Marcus Aurelius did not become a symbol of strength by yielding to comfort. He understood the battle within, and he chose to fight it every day. So must you. Kill the voice. Starve it with action. Smother it under the weight of relentless discipline. You are not a puppet strung along by fleeting feelings. You are the commander of your own mind. You do not negotiate with weakness. You conquer it. At the end of the day, every choice you make to reject comfort is a step toward the unbreakable force you were always meant to become. Principle number 3. Embrace the pain of growth. Let's talk about the truth. Most people spend their lives running from that growth is born from pain. Nobody welcomes suffering. No one wakes up hoping to be broken, tested, pushed to the edge. Yet without it, you will never become what you're capable of being. Discipline is the gatekeeper to greatness, but pain is the key that unlocks the gate. Every time you shy away from discomfort, you don't just avoid a little hardship, you postpone your evolution. You trap yourself in the cycle of smallness. You cannot build strength without first tearing weakness apart. You cannot forge a sharper mind, a tougher spirit, or an unbreakable body without first confronting the things that hold you back. Musonius Rufus, a Stoic teacher who understood the fire of adversity, once said, "No man is fit for serious effort who has not been seasoned by hardship. Comfort breeds nothing but softness. Avoiding pain only ensures one thing: you will remain fragile, untested, and unknown to your own potential." Think about it. When you lift weights, your muscles must tear before they can rebuild stronger. When you push your limits, your lungs burn, your body aches, and yet it is precisely through that suffering that transformation occurs. Every sprint, every strain, every aching moment of doubt faced head-on becomes the mortar that builds an unstoppable fortress inside you. Most people retreat the moment it starts to hurt. They tell themselves they'll start tomorrow, that the pain is a sign to pull back, but not you, not anymore. Because once you understand that the fire isn't there to destroy you, but to refine you, everything changes. What if you stopped fearing the burn? What if you welcomed it, knowing it's the one thing that separates the ordinary from the extraordinary? The truth is brutal. Comfort has been your greatest enemy. It has lulled you into routines, fed you excuses, wrapped you in layers of softness. But greatness demands a different kind of soul, one that can endure, suffer, and emerge sharpened, like steel pulled from flame. Today, you stand at a crossroads. You can stay in the shallow waters where it's safe and familiar, or you can step into the fire and let it forge you into someone the world cannot ignore. Pain is not your enemy. It is the forge, the crucible, the silent architect of every real victory you will ever achieve. At the end of the day, the person who embraces the burn, who welcomes the pain of growth, is the only one who will ever taste the power of true transformation. Principle number 4. Let go of the need for approval. Let's talk about one of the most brutal but liberating truths you will ever face. No one is coming to validate you. You've been waiting, haven't you? Waiting for applause, for recognition, for someone to pull you aside and say, "You're doing great. Keep going." But here's the truth. The world is not watching. It's too busy spinning on its own axis of distractions, worries, and ambitions. The approval you crave from friends, family, strangers, it's a mirage. It's a thirst that will never be quenched. Seneca once warned, "If you live according to nature, you will never be poor. If according to opinion, you will never be rich." And that's the trap. Living according to opinions, not your own nature. You scroll, you post, you reach, hoping someone out there will hand you the green light to keep building your life. But Stoicism demands something harder, something purer, that you walk forward without the need to be seen, without the hunger for validation. The path of greatness, the path you are called to walk, is narrow, silent, and invisible to most. You will sweat in private. You will bleed in silence. And the world will be too distracted to notice. Marcus Aurelius, the emperor who commanded legions, understood this when he wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." In other words, you are not owed recognition. You are not owed understanding. You are owed nothing except the obligation to rise anyway. The power you seek isn't waiting behind applause. It isn't hidden in someone else's approval. It's buried deep inside you, smoldering, waiting for you to stop asking for permission and start giving it to yourself. When you release the need for others to validate your worth, you claim a freedom most people will never taste. You stop playing for likes. You stop performing for claps. You build something real, something that does not collapse when the crowd turns away. The truth is harsh, but beautiful. The world will never feel the burning hunger that's eating your chest from the inside out. They won't see your early mornings, your late nights, your sacrifices, and they don't need to, because once you stop needing them to understand, you become unstoppable. At the end of the day, the only approval you ever needed was your own, and the moment you give it to yourself, no one will ever have the power to take it away. Principle number 5. Embrace the stillness of the mind. Let's talk about the rarest and most powerful force you can ever master: the stillness within your own mind. In a world drunk on noise, distraction, and endless stimulation, you are being torn apart from the inside out. The chaos isn't just outside of you, it has invaded your thoughts, your focus, your soul. Every moment spent chasing entertainment, every reflex to reach for your phone, every second lost scrolling through hollow content pulls you further away from yourself. You are not living, you are reacting. You are not thinking, you are consuming. The Stoic Epictetus understood this disease long before our world drowned in screens and static. He taught that true wealth is not measured by what you possess, but by how little you desire. And today, your deepest poverty is not in your bank account, it's in your inability to sit alone, undistracted, and meet yourself fully. The world keeps pouring noise into your mind, selling you the lie that you must always be busy, always be plugged in, always be chasing something. But the more you consume, the emptier you become. Imagine if you stopped. Imagine if you dared to be still, not for a moment, but long enough to hear the whispers beneath the madness. In that brutal silence, when all the noise of the world fades, you don't lose yourself, you finally find yourself. In the stillness, your real voice, the one you've been drowning out, grows louder, clearer, sharper. It doesn't beg, it doesn't ask, it commands. And when you hear it, you move with a force the world cannot match. The world will resist, it will claw at you, scream for your attention, beg you to rejoin the herd. But when you choose silence, when you sit with your own mind and refuse the bait of endless distraction, something ancient awakens inside you. You stop chasing external approval. You stop craving temporary highs. You begin to build something eternal: discipline, focus, clarity. Meditation is not an escape. It is a battlefield. It is the fire where you burn away every lie, every craving, every soft whisper of weakness. Don't wait for the world to calm down. It never will. Choose to carve out your own stillness. Choose to become the silent storm that no noise can reach. At the end of the day, the mind that can master stillness is the mind that can command the world, because it has first conquered itself. Principle number 6. Embrace your responsibility. Let's talk about one of the hardest truths you'll ever face. You are exactly where you are because of the choices you've made. It's tempting, almost comforting, to blame others, the world, your past, your family, the economy, but that illusion must be shattered. The only real obstacle between you and the life you are capable of living is you, Musonius Rufus once said. The chief task in life is simply this: to identify and separate matters so that I can say clearly to myself which are externals not under my control, and which have to do with the choices I actually control. Every second you spend blaming, every excuse you whisper to yourself, every moment you linger in self-pity, that is your life slipping through your fingers. Not stolen, not taken, given away. You want change. You want strength. Then stop waiting for someone to hand it to you. It won't come from the outside. The cold, brutal truth is that the world owes you nothing. Not recognition, not sympathy, not a single opportunity. If you want a different life, you will have to forge it with your own hands. Discipline begins the moment you take ownership, not partial ownership, not selective responsibility, but full command of your life. You own the mistakes. You own the victories. You own the wasted days and the triumphant ones alike. Because when you do, something extraordinary happens. You stop being a passenger. You become the architect. You stop asking life to give you something better, and you start building it yourself, stone by stone, setback by setback. Ask yourself honestly, what part of your life have you been refusing to own? What excuses have you been feeding yourself to stay the same? Growth doesn't come by waiting for better circumstances. It comes from seizing the responsibility to change, even when it's hard, even when it's unfair, even when no one is watching. There is no savior coming. There is no golden opportunity hiding just around the corner. There is only you, your will, your choices. your relentless commitment to act without excuse, to fight without waiting, to create without asking for permission. At the end of the day, the man or woman who owns everything, their failures, their struggles, their future, is the only one powerful enough to transform their life beyond recognition. Principle number 7. Master the art of consistency. Let's talk about the invisible force that separates the unstoppable from the forgotten, the brutal, unglamorous art of consistency. Inconsistency doesn't just slow you down, it rots you from the inside. It seduces you with false promises that tomorrow will be different, that someday you'll get serious. But tomorrow is a graveyard where dreams go to die. Every time you start something with fire in your chest, only to let it flicker out with the next distraction, you are building a habit of quitting on yourself. You've felt it, the surge of motivation, the adrenaline of new beginnings. But like a storm, it rages and then fades, leaving you stranded in the quiet, where real work begins. Marcus Aurelius understood this truth with savage clarity when he wrote, "What we do now echoes in eternity. Not what we feel, not what we plan, what we do." Motivation is a liar. It visits when it pleases and abandons you when you need it most. But consistency, that cold, relentless force, asks for nothing. It doesn't care if you're tired. It doesn't care if you're uninspired. It demands only that you show up, day after day, hour after hour, without excuses, without applause, without the world noticing. Because the person you become is not built in flashes of glory, but in the quiet moments when no one is watching and you do the work anyway. Every small action matters. Every decision to show up when you don't feel like it lays another brick in the fortress of your future. Momentum isn't built on passion. It's built on repetition, doing the hard thing again and again until it becomes who you are. There will be days when your body aches, when your mind conspires against you, when every cell in you begs for comfort. That is the test. Will you show up regardless? Will you honor the commitment you made to yourself when it was easy, even when it's brutally hard? Mastering consistency isn't about being perfect. It's about being relentless. It's about making a vow to yourself and keeping it, not when it's convenient, but especially when it's not. That's where the real transformation happens, not in the bursts of excitement, but in the steady drumbeat of daily effort. At the end of the day, it's not the fire of motivation that makes you unstoppable, it's the quiet, unbreakable force of consistency that carves you into something the world cannot move. Principle number 8. Confront the fear of failure. Let's talk about the monster that has been stalking your mind, quietly strangling your potential, the fear of failure. Fear isn't just a fleeting feeling. It's a beast that nests deep within you, gnawing at your ambition, whispering doubts that freeze you before you even begin. It doesn't just ask, "What if you fail?" It screams, "What if you lose everything?" And the more you listen, the tighter its grip becomes, until you're paralyzed, stuck between dreams and regrets. But here's the brutal truth. Failure is not your enemy. It is your gatekeeper. It is the fire you must walk through to reach the strength you crave. Fear itself is nothing but smoke and shadow, an illusion designed to keep you tame. It looks massive when you run from it, but when you confront it, it shrinks into nothingness. Marcus Aurelius wasn't writing philosophy to decorate libraries. He wrote as a warrior of the mind, as someone who faced the chaos of life without flinching. The impediment to action advances action, he said. The obstacle isn't the enemy, it's the path. That thing you fear, it's not a wall, it's a door. And only those with the courage to push through it ever find out who they really are. Failure strips away your illusions. It burns off weakness. It doesn't destroy you. It awakens you. Every scar, every setback, every bitter defeat is not there to break you, but to carve out the stronger, wiser version of yourself that comfort would have buried forever. The successful don't avoid failure. They hunt it down. They walk into it, eyes wide open, knowing that real power is born from chaos, not from safety. They don't fear being broken. They fear wasting their lives hiding from the battles that would have made them extraordinary. The second you stop fearing failure, the second you stop asking, "What if I fall?" and start asking, "What will I become if I don't?" that's the second the world opens up to you. Fear becomes fuel. Obstacles become weapons. Every fall becomes a lesson that catapults you forward. At the end of the day, the man who stops fearing failure doesn't just survive, he dominates, he transforms, and he becomes unstoppable. You've just heard the 8 brutal laws that could change everything, but hearing them is not enough. Knowledge without action is a slow death. Understanding without discipline is another invisible chain around your soul. These principles are not words to admire. They're weapons to wield. The fire, the clarity, the strength you seek, they are already inside you, waiting. But until you move, until you act, they remain silent, unused, forgotten. This is not about chasing perfection. It's about committing to the climb, to the struggle, to the transformation. You were not made to live small, to be hidden behind fear, to be defined by hesitation. You were born for a life that demands your full presence, a life that requires you to rise each day and conquer the doubts that whisper you should wait for tomorrow. The truth is, you don't need more time. You don't need more chances. Everything you need is already within your grasp. The world isn't asking you to be perfect. It's asking you to be relentless, to show up, to build yourself in the silence where no one is cheering, to become a force that no obstacle can break. If this message stirred something in you, don't let it fade. Like this video, comment below, own your fate as a vow to yourself. Share this with someone who's tired of being almost and ready to become unstoppable. And if you're serious about walking this path, subscribe, because this is only the beginning. The next step is waiting. Your future is waiting, and the only thing left to do is move.